So let me first. Hey, there he is, Mr. Fred Arthur. How we doing? I want to share my desktop here. All right, so we are gonna open up. Where are you? Where are you? All right. Okay, so first thing I want to share with you here is we're adding a couple tools to the arsenal. So you're going to start to see some stuff like this popping out, but the program that I'm working on right now will give us the ability to do our events, and obviously we'll have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we're typically always going to be the same, where we're going to be doing a product demo and we're going to be doing a comp plan overview. If there's time for Q&A, we'll do Q&A. On Fridays, it's more training, meeting. If everybody can get on live, great. And this is also an opportunity for you guys. You can come off mute, ask questions. This doesn't have to be just me standing and going through stuff. You guys can go, ask some questions, and we can get clear on some things. But we'll also record these. All this is also going to be posted into the Facebook group. During the off time, we have the option, if we're showing the plan to somebody, you can use the site, which is the, go over here, the code14.com. So you can go to this, which is a very basic, very generic, very vanilla site, the code14.com. All I have on here is I have the 2-minute video. Then as a progression, you can see the 50% bar up here. Then you have the 18-minute video. And then there's a 1-hour recorded webinar. And this webinar is a little different. I don't know if you guys have seen this one yet. My suggestion to you is, if you see it the way that we do, get back with the person that invited you on this video, tell them. So it's got some edits. Just had some fun with it. Francis. I'm out of Houston, Texas. But anyway, that one's about an hour. A couple little edits in there. I cut some dead spots out. Tried to clean it up. It's got some comp plan. It's got a product demo in there. And then at the bottom of this page, there's a link here. If you have somebody that you want to get in front of me, you can click on this link. And you can go in here and select a date and a time and schedule a 1-hour block. And I'll send a Zoom to you and the person, and I can go through and answer any questions that either one of you have. So we could do really like a 3-way call. If we want to do a 3-way call, we could just do a 3-way call. It doesn't have to be a Zoom. But if you want to get on the calendar, that's the quickest and easiest way to get on the calendar, is just go to the code14.com site, and then where do I go? I got so many things open here. On the code4team.com site, you got really all the tools, the 2-minute video, the 18-minute video, an hour webinar, and you have a link to schedule 3-way call or Zoom. The other tool, though, depending on what you prefer, is this, which is would give somebody a live feel for a product demo and comp plan overview. This one is that's posted up here is about 85 minutes long, so it's a little longer, but about 45 minutes in, I'm very clear with the audience on if it's all product, if we answer every question they would possibly have about the product. If there's no interest in moving forward in the business or money or, talking about the comp plan, they can get off at that point. So I give them like a jump off point about 42 minutes in to that particular video. On this, and this site is also posted in our the Code 4 Facebook group. This is this link, and I'll send this link out too also. But this link, all this does is when somebody clicks on this link, no matter who you are or where you are, it's going to pop something like this, so the next event is going to start at, 8:30 at night in this particular case. And then there's another one on Saturday, Tuesday, or Thursday. So I put them in those spots because I wanted to kind of fill in the blanks of the times that we might not be doing the live event. And in this particular presentation, Kenneth kicked it off, and then I did, I took over probably about 20, maybe 25 minutes in. And then there's a more extensive comp plan on this particular video. They can go on here and they can register. It gives them a countdown clock. So if you go in and register here, might be running slow because we're all on here. But either way, you go in here, you register, you refresh this. Yeah, I think it's running slow. So you get the idea, though. You go in, register, you put your name, cell phone number, email address, and then there's a little countdown clock in there. So I'm working on this technology over the next week or two. We are going to. It would be very clear to somebody within 5 or 10 minutes that they're watching a recording. But within the next week or two, I'm going to have all this technology set up so that the event will feel live, and there's going to be moderators, Q&A. It'll be live events, and all of our events are going to train, whether it's training are all going to be set up in that system. So we will be transferring over to that here shortly. So that way everything is recorded and there's a library of all of our material. I have a website being built right now where somebody will be able to go in and pick, hey, I want to do comp plan, and they'll go have a registration page, countdown clock, same stuff, but they can do an on-demand for comp. They can do a product demo. I have a video right now that is a more extensive training on how to use the text blasting, which I can kind of go into a little bit here if you guys want. But I have a video that we're going to have coming out with the text blasting and how to use that for businesses. So how a business would use the text blasting to grow their business. And then, obviously the product and then training. So all those things are going to be categorized in the new website. So we'll have the website up, but right now everything that you need is on the Code 4 team, or you can get this link from. I'll send it out, but it'll also be always on our Facebook group. If you're not on our Facebook group, then text me and I'll make sure that we get you up on the Facebook group. But get in there and just get social. You know, I mean, you know, we're obviously right now, you know, we're in a growth foundation period. So everybody's getting to know each other. But, you know, just get in, get social and start, you know, talking to people. I mean, everybody's in the same boat. Anybody have any questions about any of the tools as they currently are? Is it clear? Anything I can answer to make sure that you guys understand how to use those tools? I don't know if I'm
No.
on mute, you guys. I don't know if I have you muted or if you're muted, but I can you guys give me feedback?
It seems pretty straightforward. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. I like the idea of having that one location where I can go and pull up, you know, a short 8-minute video or even a more extensive overview. And the fact that you've got some preset stuff too for people who may not necessarily make the live stuff. So that's going to be really helpful. So
Yeah, and the technology as I get better. So I talked to Larry today, Larry Wallace, and he's going to help me with some of this stuff. But there's a way in that it's called Webinar Jam, where you can have like if you go on, like I actually recommend everybody go watch that one with the countdown clock. It's like 80 minutes or something like that. But that's a good, you know, a good one to show people. But if you look at it, you know it's not live, you know. So there's a way where it can look live even when it's not live. So my goal is to get it to where even you all, not that I want to confuse you, but I want it to be so like, is this real? Is it not real? You know what I mean? And that's when we know that the technology is working for us, because, you know, it's like, it'll always feel like a live event. There's always going to be urgency. There's, you know, it'll feel very interactive. And then for all of us, we have technology working for us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because as you start building your teams out, you know, now they have a presentation going all the time. You know, there's something available all the time. So that's my goal, is to, you know, really get the technology working for us.
Yeah, awesome, Glenn. I really like it. Appreciate it.
All right. But anybody questions? I mean, are you guys pretty good on that? Because there's something else I want to go over. All right.
I'm good.
So, okay.
yes, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So on comp, comp. Where do I got comp at? I just got stuff all over my computer here. Just give me a second. Let me figure this out. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna do it live. This will be good. So I'm gonna show you guys coding. So this is coding. All right. So the coding part of the system All right, so we know we have the fast start bonus, and that fast start bonus is $50. All right. This is the crux of everything that we need in order to have a successful coded business. Is we need to be focused on the just change this. We need to be focused on making sure that everybody is getting the getting their fast start bonus. Now, because we're in the foundation, beginning stages of all this stuff, I know there was a lot of people that missed getting their first 3 customers in their first 30 days, and some got them, some didn't. And, I'm having some conversations with Larry about a couple of things that we might be able to do to get people an opportunity to get that money back. But the way the plan is written right now, technically speaking, you don't lose anything if you don't get the 3 customers in the first 30 days. So I don't want anybody to feel like if they miss that, part of the, getting in at this stage, part of it is, obviously we're first movers advantage, but also at the same time, when you're a trailblazer and you're setting everything up, you're also setting everything up. And, come January, believe me, all of our stuff, and if anybody has actually watched from the beginning of our evolution of tools and team as compared to where we are now, when we get into January, it's going to be lockstep. Everything's going to be tight. So, I even have to take responsibility for the fact that I wasn't pushing on getting the 3 customers as much as I should have, and we weren't doing enough customer training. All that's obviously changing. We got a lot of technology that we're going to put to work to help everybody get the training they need. But all that being said, everything revolves around this fast start bonus. So the fast start bonus is a 30-day clock that people get in order to earn $50 to get 3 customers. I think we can all agree that $50 doesn't sound like a big deal. So why would it be such a big deal? How could it be such a big deal? So essentially what happens is, as you are recruiting and building your team, you become coded by adding ICCs on. An ICC is an independent communications consultant. When an ICC comes into your business and becomes active, then that gets you one step closer to your code. So let me explain what that means. So let's say if I take, just because I don't know any other way other than just using circles. So we're going to use a circle here, and copy, paste. All right, so let's say this is, we'll use Fred. Fred's on here, right? So we'll use Fred. Okay, so let's say I got Fred. Okay, now I'm going to use this as me, Glenn, and Fred. If Fred signs up in the business, in order for him to be active, we have to get Fred a customer, right? So we'll do okay. So let's say that this C represents a customer. There's 3 plans. The plan's simple. It's 39, 89, 139. 3 plans. That's it. Very simple. There's points associated with each of those plans. So the first month somebody signs up, if they sign up for a $139 plan, there's 12 points. After that, it's 6 points every month after. The reason why we encourage everybody to do the 139 plan was specifically for the reason that I'm showing you here is if you have one customer at 139, that first month's 12 points, but forget about that because it's 6 points every month after. You've technically met the requirement in order for you to be active. All active means is one of two things. Either one, I get a new customer during the course of the month, or two, it means that I've maintained at least 6 points. So let's go in this particular situation. Let's say this customer right here that Fred has, that customer is a 139 customer. That means the first month he would have gotten 12 points credit for it. The second month would be 6 points credit for it. And then every month after, again, it's 6 months or 6 points. So in this particular case, if Fred gets one customer, he's now active. As long as that customer stays on, he's active as long as that customer stays on. If the customer goes off and he doesn't have any other customers, then he goes inactive. He's not active anymore. So in order to be active, again, you need to either enroll a new customer at any level, 39, 89, or 139, or you need to maintain at least 6 points. Okay? So now when Fred goes active, right? So again, this is active. Active. When Fred becomes active, when Fred becomes active, that's now one more person for me going towards my code. So what that means is this. I need 4 Freds, right? 4 active ICCs in order for me to become code 1. I need, so it's 4, 5, 6, then it's 7, I go code 2. At 10, I go code 3, and at 13, I go code 4. So it's all I need is I just need to, when I enroll somebody and they're active and technically they have to be certified. Now, because the certification is, we're still working on all that, but technically speaking, when somebody comes in 199, they're really going to be certified, but that'll be a lot clearer once the company launches and, we're able to send out our kits and all that stuff. But essentially, for you to code, you just need to build a team and recruit and really just get people to go active. So that's how you would code. So in this case, if I had one person that had one customer, Fred would be active. That wouldn't code me. In order for me to even begin to be coded, I need to have 4. So you do this. So 1, duplicate. So let's say I did this twice, right? So let's say this is Fred and Melissa, right? Not coded yet, right? So this is me. If I have these 2 ICCs, all right, so let's say I got this one here, duplicate, and let's say I got this one here, right? So let's say this is my business. I got these 2 ICCs, both of them have either signed up a customer or they have 6 points. That doesn't code me yet. In order for me to get into coding, I have to have 4. 4 is where it starts. So it goes 4, 4, 5, and 6. So my 4th, 5th, and 6th active ICC, that's going to be the code 1. When I go to 7, 8, 9, that's going to go code 2. when I go 10, 11, 12, now I'm code 3. And then in order for me to go code 4, I have to have 13, code 4. So in order for me to go code 4, I have to have 13 or more active ICCs. Now, the coding is where so if I'm not coded and somebody I enroll, if they get their $50 fast start bonus, I get a $50 match. So I'm not coded. So it's my first, my second, and my third person, right? So in this case, let's say this is my whole business here, Fred and Melissa. Fred and Melissa are my only 2 people, right? Well, if Fred goes and gets his 3 customers and makes the $50 fast start bonus, if I'm not coded, I still get a $50 match. I get a cab. If Melissa goes and gets her 3 customers, gets her $50, she gets the fast start bonus, I would get the cab. I would get the match. So they get, the person who gets the 3 customers gets the fast start bonus. The person who enrolled them gets the cab, the match. Now, if I'm a code 1, now I'm coded for $75. So let me take this text down a little bit so I can play with. I'm trying to do this slow so everybody can get this, because I know some people had confusion over this.
Hey, Glenn, can I interrupt you a second to ask a question?
Yep. Please ask me questions.
Okay, so when you become an ICC and you pay your your $199 and then you select your plan, you in fact are a customer as well, but that doesn't count. Is that what you're saying? When you say you need to get 4 other customers, that's outside of your own personal.
Right. So when you sign up as a customer, you're actually, so you're my customer. You're not your own customer. Yep. So we were very very deliberate in that to make sure that we were superseding the requirements of the FTC, because we have to remember that this company is governed not only by the FTC, but also by the FCC. And so we wanted to make sure that we were super vanilla when it comes to safety of, like, obviously no one wants the company to get in trouble for, us being our own customers. There are some plans where you can be your own customer. Obviously, you know that. And there are some plans where they won't let you be your own customer. In this one, we are, in this one, the way we've been doing this is everybody that you bring on, if you bring them on as an ICC and you bring them on as a customer, so like here in this situation, Fred's my customer, Melissa's my customer. But now when you're bringing on your independent communications consultants, they're coming in also as your customers. So even though technically you don't count as your own customer, your customers will count as, your ICCs will count as your customers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, it's just important for me to understand. So I'm your customer, but whether or not I bring someone on as solely as a customer or they decide to be an ICC, they still will have customer status with me.
Correct. Right. And I've had a couple that came on as an ICC and a customer and then said, hey, I don't want to build, and they, I mean, what did they really cancel? Their $10 a month, but they stayed on as customers. I've had a couple of people that came on as customers and then later decided they wanted to build, and then they just upgraded to become an ICC. So either way, and then I have a couple customers that are just customers. They're non-participating customers. They are not participating in the compensation plan. And it's important that we have non-participating customers as well. So in this case, when I show a customer here for you, that could either be, an ICC that is also a customer, and that's your customer, or it could just be a non-participating customer. Doesn't matter. Customers are customers. At the end of the day, you know, we want to get as many customers as possible, but obviously you can also see, if you remember the model of 12 that gets 12, and, you know, we're, you know, really pushing on 12. If you went out and got 12 ICCs and all of them are customers, then you're technically really about a code 3. I mean, a couple things have to happen. I mean, they got to go out and at least, you know, become active active by getting the 6 points and all that stuff. But, you know, you're really almost code 4, you know, by just doing that, because you have now 12 ICCs, but you also have your 12 customers. Like, you're fulfilling so many pieces of the comp plan by doing that. You know, that's why we were you know, pushing on that. Yeah, I mean, so does this, you know, so far, does that kind of make some sense?
Understood.
Okay. So now coming back to the coding, right? So now code 1, code 2, code 3, code 4. So 75, 100, 125, 150. So now let's go and say that 50, 50. All right, so obviously here, if I'm not coded and I only have 2 people, you go get your fast start bonus, you make $50, I make a match. Again, mine is called a cab because yours is the fast start bonus, mine is a customer acquisition bonus. So this is if Fred went and got 3 customers in his first 30 days. Now I get the match, right? Fred doesn't get his customers in the first 30 days. It doesn't disqualify him from going on and being coded. It has nothing to do with that. Obviously, the comp plan revolves around us creating the pattern of people going out and getting their first 3 customers in their first 30 days. But that's our job as the team to get better, you know, better at that. So now Fred gets the $50 fast start. I enrolled Fred. I get a $50 cap. I don't know what I did with my 50 because it's white and I put it in white, so I'll have to do another one. But now, let's say I'm a code 1. So again, what is a code 1? Code 1 means now that I have this is going to look sloppy, but let's just throw it down here. So I know it looks a mess, but I just want to illustrate that I have now 4, right? So I have Fred, and then I have another Fred, and then I have Melissa, and I got another Melissa, right? So I have 4 ICCs that are all active ICCs. So now if I have 4, I now go code 1. So now I'm a code 1. I'm coded at $75. So now same situation. Fred goes and gets his $50 fast start bonus. In this situation, if I were enrolling Fred and I'm a code 1, instead of 50, I'm getting 75. So he's getting the 50. My cab is 75 instead of 50. Once I hit 7 active ICCs, now I'm a code 2, my 75 becomes 100. So now, again, let's say Fred gets his $50 fast start bonus. If I'm a code 2, instead of just getting 50, I get 100. So That's about as simple as I can make, you know, that matching part. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. So now, all right. So now let's do something else. So now let's say that, okay, Fred now goes out and he brings in somebody on his team, right? Now, that person goes and gets their $50 fast start. Fred, sponsored, in this case, we'll say this is Mel, right? Not Melissa, not to be confused with Melissa. And now Mel becomes, Mel is not, obviously she'd be active because if you got 3 customers in 30 days, you're active. So you're active, you're an ICC, that Mel goes out and makes a $50 fast start. Fred's not coded. He doesn't have anybody yet, right? So if Fred's not coded and you don't have anybody yet, then it's going to be the 50, right? So it's just $50. Now, I, in that case, was a code 2, right? So as a code 2, now I would get a $50 difference. So if I'm a code 2, I'm coded for $100. If there's 50 that is already spent here, then I get the other 50. So in this case, I'm giving you an example of somebody that's a code 2 and 50 was paid out on the cab. Remember, you don't want to confuse cab with the fast start bonus. So 50 was paid out on the cab. I'm coded for 100 is what my code is, right? So I get the difference between 100 and the $50 cab that was already paid out. So I get 50.
This is because Melissa is 2 ICCs removed from you.
That's right. And Melissa can be 1,000 ICCs removed from me. This goes through infinity on every line. So the reason why we decided to name the team the Code 14 is because we want everybody to shoot for becoming a Code 4. Because if you, again, all you got to do to be a Code 4 is go get 13 ICCs and they're all active. You're Code 4, $150. It's not 13 people that go get their fast start bonuses. I mean, that would be nice. But it's 13 people that all are active. So at 13 active ICCs, and you're a code 4. And that means you're coded for 150. So now let's say in this case, I'm a code 4, right? So now if I'm a code 4, I'm coded for a 150 cab. That's my code. So now in this case, let's say Fred is not coded. Mel gets a fast start bonus. Fred gets a $50 cab. I'm coded for 150. I'm getting the difference between 150 and the 50 that was already paid out for the cab. So I get 100. If Fred is a code 1, Fred's getting 75 on a cab when Mel got 50 for her fast start, or his fast start in this case. Since 75 was paid out, if I'm a code 4, I'm coded for 150, I get the other 75. So it's always going to pay out the total of what you're coded. If I'm code 4, I've maxed it out, it's no more than 150. If Fred is code 3, then Fred gets 125 because Fred's a code 3, right? So $50 match. I mean a $50 fast start bonus. Fred enrolled the person, so Fred gets 125 bucks. If I'm code 4 and Fred's code 3, I still get 25 bucks. I still get a little bit. But I also get a 20% check match on Fred's cab bonus. So technically it's more than 25 because and that's another part of the plan. I still get a 20% check match on Fred's cab. So, I'll still make more money than that. So you don't have to worry about, I don't want my people to go code 4, because then they're taking all the money that comes up through the network, because the bigger their checks are, the bigger your check is, because you brought them in anyway. So, because you're going to get a 20% match on that, that's a different lesson. I don't want to confuse the two. But that's how coding works. So now if you go deeper, like in this case, you got Glenn, Fred, right? These are the customers, so it's all that's what represents active, right? So now if I go deeper, let's say I got Joe, Beth, Tom, Fred. Now, in this case, let's make Fred a code 3. So Fred's a code 3. That means Fred is coded for 125. I'm going to be a code 4. I'm coded for 150. Let's take this and just move it over here. Let's take this and move it over here. All right, so now, again, Fred is a code 3. I am a code 4. Actually, let's do this. 3. And I'll be a 4. This is just for illustration purposes. Okay, so I'm a code 4, Fred's a code 3. And then we got Fred brought in Tom, Tom brought in Beth, Beth brought in Joe. So Fred might have brought in other people outside of Tom. I want to give you an illustration of one line. And again, you have to use your imagination because this is through infinity on every line. So Joe is 1, 2, 3 levels removed from Fred. Joe gets his fast start bonus. 3 customers, 30 days, goes out, makes $50. Beth, no matter if she's coded or not coded, because Beth brought Joe in, Beth is going to automatically get a $50 cab. Remember, Joe got the fast start bonus. Beth is going to get a cab. Tom, in this case, is not coded. Tom doesn't get anything because Tom has, in this case, Tom's not coded. Tom has, I'm sorry, actually, that's not true. Tom gets 20% of Beth's cab check. So actually, Tom does get something. But in this scenario, as far as the cabs and decabs, he doesn't get anything. But, so you got Joe, fast start bonus. Beth, cab. In this case, Tom, not coded. As far as this part of the comp plan goes, he's not getting anything. Now remember, Fred's a code 3. So code 3, come back over here, is coded for 125. 50 was already paid out. So Fred is going to get a $75 decab, differential cab. Now, I'm code 4. So in this case, as a code 4, I still get the difference between Beth, 50, and Fred is 125 and 150. So I would still get $25. So I still get a little something on that scenario. And again, I'm not getting into the matching bonus checks or the matching I'm trying to stay away from that part for right now. I'm just talking about cabs, decabs, and fast start bonuses. So this goes down every single line. And that's why on that one slide I show, 25s and 50s and 75s and 100s and 125s and 150s coming from everywhere, because it really depends on what line they're coming from, who enrolled them, and where you're coded. So the goal is to get everybody in and get them coded, obviously as quickly as we possibly can. We want to get we all want to get coded as quick as we possibly can. The way we get coded is by enrolling in ICC and then them going active, which means they have to have 6 points, which means they either have to sign up a new customer that month, or if they have a customer and that customer was a premier customer, then they would always be active. So if like one ICC brought in another ICC and both of them were premier customers, then at least you would have that premier customer. You would be active. That's all active is. Active is I've signed up one customer during the course of the month, or I've maintained 6 points. So it's simple. And then, like I said, this gets paid down through every single line. So if you can imagine, if you're a code 4, not only for you to bring somebody new in, obviously to help them get their fast start bonus, they get 50, you get 150, which is great. But when you open a new line, it's like opening a new franchise, opening a new business. Every single person that comes into that franchise, into that business, is now, they're not coded yet. So all of those people are getting a $50 fast start bonus when they get their 3 customers in 30 days. The person who enrolled them is going to get a $50 cab, but a lot of that other money is going to float up to you, especially if you're code 4, which is why in a plan like this, it's always, this plan encourages people to continue to go wide and open new lines because of how much it pays for you to open a new business and get people started. Any questions on how do you get coded? How do you get your fast start bonus? How cabs work or how decabs work?
Yeah. So just to clarify, so if you, per se, right now have enrolled somebody in $39 plan, you need to get at least a premier on someone else in order to be active by the 15th is where I'm a little confused.
No, because you get double the points for the first month. So technically, if you enroll somebody for 39, by the way, I'm posting the comp plan in the Facebook group. We had some terms and stuff like that we had to like gloss over and fix. But if you guys want these, you can go through them. Some of them are a little hard to read, but okay. So yeah, the $39 plan, you get double the points. So it's actually 4 points, right? So in order for you to be active, you need 6 points over the course of the month. So yeah, if you only enrolled one customer and that one customer is at $39, technically you're not active yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have till the 15th to get 6 points.
Right. You need a customer. You need a customer, or the customer you have upgrades to the 89. And also, by the way, the charging thing, the $52, that whole thing, that was a glitch. So I hope you're getting a refund back for $13 or $14, whatever it is.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. Anytime we sign up a customer, it's $39, $89, $139. That is it. If it says anything different than that, go in immediately and open a ticket. And that was the other thing I wanted to communicate with everybody is open tickets. If you see a glitch on the website, open a ticket. If you see a, if you see an error and something wasn't charged right, open a ticket. As much as I've never said no to anybody for anything. I just don't. I'll help everybody get their answers, but you can bypass me. You don't need me in order to get answers. Just go right into your back office and go to help. So the way you would do it is you just go. I got so many things open, I can't tell where everything is. All right, so if I'm in my back office, so see down here where it says questions. If I go in here and say, blah, 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 whatever, email address, how can I help you? And then I can even attach pictures. Normally, it's late at night on Friday, so no one's there right now, but there are people manning that. It's not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I put what I want in here, it'll get to the right person. But you would have to say, I want to open a ticket. I want to open a ticket. And then tell them what you're opening a ticket for. If you see something that you think would make the program better, say, I want to open a ticket, suggestion, whatever. The way they're doing it right now is, depending on how many suggestions come in for a particular thing, would make a difference on how high up in the queue that particular thing will be installed. So unless it comes from certain people, like, early on, it was just a few of us, and, they were responding because it was like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Like, we changed the characters here from 160 to 470. So, that changed. Right now the next thing that's coming is we're going to have auto responders. So when somebody texts into your text list, you can have it set up where it automatically says, this message or that message, and then you can have like a drip campaign. All that's coming in, and then attaching pictures and attaching videos. All that is going to be installed. All of this will be done by the time we launch. So the goal right now, everybody is focused on getting everything cleaned up so that by the time the company launches January 1st, it's like squeaky clean. This thing, and it's already awesome, but it's going to be even that much better. But that's how you would go open a ticket, is you would just go right into your back office and just hit either questions or support. It's during the day, I think it says support or something like that. Did somebody have a question? Gotcha. No worries, brother. We'll talk in the morning. All right. Okay. So, went over opening tickets. Anybody, again, any questions when it comes to the coding? Is all that stuff clear?
It is. This is Andre. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is it possible, like in your illustration, that Fred is a higher code than Glenn?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So let's say, yeah, absolutely. So let's say Glenn is a code 2, and Fred is a code 3 or a code 4. Let's say Fred's a code 4. That's a great question. So Fred's a code 4, and let's say I'm not coded. Okay, and Fred's a code 4. Joe gets his fast start bonus. Beth gets the cab. Fred's a code 4. So Fred would get the difference between 150 and 50. So Fred gets 100, right? Obviously, if I'm not coded, I don't get anything on this part of the plan. But I do get on the check match, I do get 20% of his cab check. So technically, I would still get, in this case, $20.
Okay.
Even if I'm not coded. That's why when we were talking, when I talked to Mike Sheffield, who is the Sheffield Group is the company that built the comp plan. Mike Sheffield is the main guy that runs the Sheffield Group. He was in Excel Communications. The top guy in Excel Communications made like $1 million a month in Excel Communications. The person that enrolled that guy was making $25,000 a month. So the top guy had everybody, you know, I mean, everybody. He's making $1 million a month. The person who enrolled him was making $25,000 because he enrolled the guy that had everybody. In this plan, the guy that enrolled the top guy would have been making about $250,000, not $25,000, because you're the first person that you sponsor, the second person you sponsor, and the third person you sponsor or enroll as ICCs. You're getting a 20% check match, which is extremely generous from the company's perspective. You're getting a 20% check match on their cabs and the cab part of the plan. So that's a very you'll see when the money starts getting paid out, you'll see what that is.
Okay.
I mean, so that rewards, it's funny because in this business, typically most plans, you don't get rewarded if you don't build a big enough balanced business. Like there's always these ways that it always seems like there's a way that the company doesn't want to pay you or finds a way not to pay you. So the person that's like really working hard and just doesn't know a lot of people, but they just knew one person that just knocked it out of the park, right? In this plan, you can actually make a lot of money. And that's one of the reasons why I love the plan so much, is because we're going to see average people excel and make more money than they ever thought they could ever make in this plan. I guarantee it. It's going to be, we haven't done anything yet, like nothing, no. And a lot of that's my fault. It's all of our faults. I mean, you only have one opportunity to launch the company, but at the same time, you're learning. It's like there's a lot coming at you, and some people were paying attention, some people weren't. Me and Melissa having a talk this morning, and she was talking about the evolution of just what we were showing in the beginning as compared to what the team and the tools and all the system stuff that we have now. And I don't feel like we have anything yet. Like, I feel like there's so many things that I still want to put in, but but I guess we do have a lot. But we've also learned a lot, but we haven't done anything. Nobody's done really anything. So anybody who feels that they missed something or something got away from them or they failed, or you got to get it all out of your head. All that is. And this is why I focus so hard on the 4 agreements. Remember the 4 agreements. Number 1 is the commitment, the word, not beating yourself up, not gossiping about other people. If you make a commitment, you stick to the commitment. A yes is a yes, a no is a no. The second agreement is don't take things personal. The third agreement is don't make assumptions, which means don't build stories. And we all do it. It is human nature to build stories. We all build stories. But the key to and that's why, again, we called ourselves the Code 14. Also, is these 4 agreements is you have to stop your brain from building stories that aren't true. Nobody missed anything because I missed a fast start bonus. Nobody missed anything because they couldn't work. Look, over the last couple of weeks, you know, anybody who's talked to me knows for the last 2 weeks, I've barely been able to walk. There were multiple days I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't move. I had to roll out of bed to go to the bathroom. The pain of what I was dealing with the nerve damage in my leg reached an all-time high, and I was out. Like, there was nothing I could do. And if I didn't believe in the 4 agreements the way that I believe in them, I don't know what I would have done, because my brain would have built so many stories. But number 3, I don't make assumptions. But number 4 is do the best you can where you're at. When you're healthy, you're going to maybe do better than when you're sick. But wherever you're at, do the best you can. So number 1, honor your commitments. A yes is a yes. A no is a no. Don't beat yourself up. You know, be careful with the words that you use. You know, don't break promises. If you broke a promise, if you broke a commitment, then you need to go back and clean it up. You need to go fess up, go talk to the person, go tell them, hey, listen, I didn't mean to offend. I didn't mean to be late. I didn't mean to whatever. But if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. It's extremely important. 2, do not take anything personal. In this business, you can't take things personal. When people, you know, people are going to, they're going to let you down. You're going to let yourself down. They're not going to return your call. They're going to tell you you're crazy. There's going to be a million numerous things that will happen to you in this business, but you can't take those things personal. They don't have anything to do with you. And until virtual reality or something gets to the point where you could actually live in somebody else's, you know, soul or whatever, there's no way anybody can ever experience your experiences. So therefore, you can't take anything that they do or say personal, even if it feels like a personal attack, because it's really about them. And there's so many times in my life where somebody personally attacked me and then later came back and said, I'm so sorry, that was about me, not you. And, you know, it's like, you just can't take things personal. And then don't make assumptions. And then 4 is do the best you can. And you know, I was beat up, and I you know, and the best I could on some days was nothing. The best I could on some days was absolutely nothing, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't call people. I couldn't recruit. I mean, the one thing I would say is I don't think I missed one 3-way call. I don't think I missed one webinar. I don't think I missed one training. If I said I was going to be there for the team, I was there. I don't think I missed anything, you know, one Zoom, anything. I don't think I missed one thing that anybody asked me to do. But I couldn't do anything over and above that. You know, I mean, I have all these videos recorded, and I couldn't get them where they needed to go. So, you know, but I did the best I could with where I was. And, you know, and I know that I did. I know I did the best I could. And you have to give yourself that space, because sometimes the best you can do is what you can do. So you just got to go with it. But we got to stop building stories of assuming that we missed anything. We didn't miss anything. Believe me, you know, I'm mad. I mean, I'm mad that I'm not further along with where we are. But at the end of the day, we are still in a great place, and the company's going to launch on January 1st. The company has gotten better progressively every day. And typically by this point, for somebody like me that has experience, I would have now seen the ugly if there was ugly. The ugly would have reared its head if there was ugly here. And I haven't seen anything that has given me pause that this isn't as good, if not better, than the first time that I saw it. It's actually better. Actually, everything so far has been better than how I originally thought it was. It's better. The only thing that didn't perform the way that should have is myself, which obviously everyone's a reflection of me. So, but that's okay because, you know, I did the best I could with where I was. And now moving forward, we have an opportunity to seize, to take advantage of. Now it's a matter of making a decision to take advantage of that opportunity and to really take advantage of what we got. And I believe we have something very, very special. So I went through the coding. I went through a little bit of the check matches, but I'm more on the coding and the decabs. How do you become coded? I went through the tools for the site. I mean, for the team. I went through the how to open a ticket. Answered a couple questions. 4 agreements. We have to continually keep talking about the 4 agreements. I want everybody looking at that book. I mean, it's an easy book to read, but I mean, that book has saved my skin here many times. But anybody have any other questions that they want to throw at me while we're on?
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me?
Anybody have any questions, comments, or observations?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah. I just want to, verify. You mentioned earlier, like, if we have, let's say, just one person signed up, and then that person decides to blow up, like, you get paid for all of their network as well. There is no balancing or anything in legs.
No, that's not what I said. But I'm glad you brought up that question. So there's 10 different ways that you get paid. So if you go to the comp plan, and I know you've been through enough presentations. This is Carlo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, in order to be, you got the supervisor, manager, director, that opens up the different levels. So that's for the residual part. We were focused on the coded part of the plan. So what I was saying on the coded part of the plan is, technically speaking, if you, let's say you didn't have a big bounce business, but you were a code 4 or a code 3, like, I mean, on the coded part, actually, there really is no balance requirement. So it's like 2 separate plans.
Gotcha.
You got to think of it like that. It's 2 separate comp plans. You got the coded plan, and then you have the residual plan. And if we focus on the coded plan, the residual plan is going to work itself out. So I would focus just on the coded plan. And that means that as you're building your code, and you're code 1, code 2, code 3, code 4, then you're building the business exactly the way you need to be building the business anyway. So but yeah, on the check match part, like, let's say if Carla, let's say you brought in Joe, right? And you never enrolled anybody else, but you brought in Joe, and you're at least active, which means you have one personal customer, and then Joe goes out and destroys it, right? You're not getting paid on the residual part of all of Joe's business because you don't have balance, right? You don't have anything else. But you would, depending on how you're coded, you would or could make a lot of money on the coded part, and you would also get a 20% check match on his cab and the cab part of the plan.
Got it. One more thing. So because I didn't see any like percentage. You know how some comp plan you have to have 40% on each
Yep.
leg,
Yep.
you know, the balancing thing. So on the residual part with that tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, well, tier 4, as long as you meet the qualifying requirements to move up rank, right? Like executive, you know, director or whatever. I forgot the names, but
That's all right. I forget the names too sometimes. So don't worry about it.
as long as you meet those requirements, there is no percentage balancing, right? As long as you meet you have
Well,
one.
there is.
There is.
When you get later into the plan, there's always balance. There's always balancing. But here, let me show you what it is, because actually it's really simple.
Yeah, because I didn't see that in the slides.
That's why I've got these documents that you'll. Not everybody's going to want to read all this stuff, but for the people that do. Pull something up there. I'm gonna pull it up so it's not me holding a piece of paper, but it's actually the only thing I don't like about Zoom is these pictures. They keep getting in my way. Because you guys can see my desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the cab part. Okay. All right, so here's the. Okay, so like, see here, remember I talk about the points. I should have been showing this. Shit. I should have been showing this the whole time. I didn't even think of that. I forgot I had it. But remember I was saying like you get double the points. So like, if you sign up a Premier, you get 12 points the first month, and then after that, 6 points. So that's that. Okay, so here. So this is, let me make this full screen. Okay. Carlo, can you see this, my screen? Is that like a good view of this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So team leader, right? So team leader means I need to be active plus one personally sponsored active ICC. Hey, by the way, if anybody needs to jump, like, don't feel like you need to sit here the whole time. And I mean, if you're into it, great, stay. Like, but I don't want anybody to feel like they got to like hang out. You know how I am. Like, I'll just sit here and geek out on stuff all night and answer questions. So, I mean, if you need to jump, then no problem. So team leader. So in order to be a team leader, I have to be active plus personally sponsor one active ICC, right? So if you think about it, what is active? Active means I've either enrolled a customer during the month or I have at least 6 points. That's all active is. So a team leader means I have one active person. So that means I have one person that has at least 6 points. Then you have to have a total. So here's the, like what you're talking about. See here where it says the 12 points. So you need 12 total group points. But it makes sense. If I'm a team leader, I'm active. I have one ICC, they're active. That's 12 points. So it's 12. Like if there's no, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't be a team leader without having 12 points. So there's no gotcha. And then, it's like supervisor. Then to be a supervisor, you have to be active. Plus you have, so active, it means I have at least 6 points. and then I have 2 active ICC legs and 1 qualified team leader leg. So once I do team leader, then I just need to help somebody else be a team leader. So what's a team leader? They need 12 points, 1 customer, it's like 1 ICC and 1 customer. So like, Carlo, you have, how many people do you have enrolled?
Personally?
Yeah.
Or
4?
well, actually, I got 2 personal, and I helped one of them enroll 2.
So you have 2 personal, and you helped 1 enroll 2. Right. So, okay. So then you would be, okay. And then, yeah. So you're probably, you need to shoot for supervisor. So to be a supervisor, you need 1 qualified team leader, and then you need 2 active ICC lines. So remember, active is somebody that has 6 points. So you need 2 ICCs that have 2 active. It's like almost redundant. An active ICC is 6 points. So you just need two people that could just have 1 customer. 2 lines that each have a customer, and then you just need to build 1 team leader, which a team leader is just a person that has a person underneath them. That's it, right? So you're probably like almost really right there. You just need to go. You still need to sponsor somebody else. But now, in order to do, that's supervisor. Team leader, you're already getting paid down. You're already getting paid down through the debt that you have in your organization anyway. So nothing's getting away from you. Like the way the plan is, and this is why I don't spend a lot of time focusing on all this stuff, because it's too complicated, and no one needs to know it. It doesn't matter. Because if you just follow the coded part of the plan and you enroll and help people go active and get their 3 customers in 30 days, all this stuff works itself out. Like you just don't even need to worry about it. You know what I mean? Because you won't possibly outgrow your organization because you're doing the right activities. And that's why it doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
It matters, but it doesn't matter.
Right, got it.
But you see here, 40% on personal customers. So it's 40% rule. I mean, that's standard. Activation commissions, 40% on personal customers. First month service fees. Oh, no. I'm reading the wrong thing. I'm like, what am I just read it and I'm like, wait, there's no percentage rule on these ranks. I'm thinking the percentage rule doesn't kick in until like way in depth. And then I started reading it. I'm like, wait, that's not the percentage rule. That's the pay.
I think the way they have the requirements for team leader, supervisor, manager, the way they have that requirement set up, it forces you to do the percentage rule. So maybe that's why they don't have it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, well,
I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, yeah, the way they have it set up, it has to be balanced.
It has to be some balance. Like it's 3 legs. You have to build 3 legs. I mean, that's all. You have to build 3 legs. I mean, there's no way around it. You're gonna. I mean, but that's in anything. But in the coded part of the plan, technically, you can be coded and not have really a lot of balance and still make money because you're getting that's why I say it's really like 2 comp plans. The way I show it, it's not to ever deceive anybody. It's just that there's so many different ways to get paid, and I don't want to confuse people. So what I do is I just focus on the meat and potatoes, because I know that everything will work itself out. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. Now, if people want to get into this stuff, the documents are here, and people can geek out on all this, but like, look at director. Okay, so you need 300 total group points. And I started looking, I'm like, wow, 300, that's kind of a lot, right? And then I start thinking about it. I'm like, well, if everybody's coming in at 139, right, then 300 divided by 12 is 25 personal customers. I don't know, I mean 25 group customers. If it's the 6, because remember it's 12 the first month and then 6 the month after, So 300 divided by 6 is 50 customers. Okay, so you need a total group of 50 customers to be a director. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where, oh, that's right. That's where the 60% rule applies, that you just can't have more than 60% coming out of one line. But you can't anyway, because you have the structure. So it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. You got to build 3 lines though, 3 legs. But again, this is all more like advanced stuff that, you know, actually this is really the first time we've even gotten into some of this stuff, but I'll have all this stuff posted if somebody wants to read through it and all that. But, you know, really, if you just, again, continue to focus on enrollment, getting customers. Really, we all need to get better at getting customers. Everybody needs to be getting better at getting customers. That's where our organization tanked on personal customers. I think we have like, we probably have like 40 or 50 personal customers in the organization. So it's not even that many. But we need more customers. You know, this is about customer gathering. So I'm doing I talked to Larry today. We're going to do, you know, the doodle, you know, the thing where like they draw, the artist draws, and you can, but, you know, like have the storyline sketched out. I have a storyline that I want sketched out, and it's going to be about a 3-minute doodle video explaining, it's all going to be geared towards customers and marketing, text marketing, and how businesses would build their business using text marketing. And we're in the process right now of getting that done. So hopefully that'll be done within the next like week or so. That's going to be a good video. Well, I'm focused right now on building tools to help us get customers, not just recruit people on the team. Because what's it matter if we recruit a bunch of people on the team and nobody can go out and get personal customers? You know, we gotta give people the tool to be able to get a customer without them having to go like out and do it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's going to be a tool. So we'll have that done too here soon. Dude, it's going to be awesome, man. I mean, we got so much stuff going. It's like, this is going to be so much better than people can even imagine of what the possibilities are ultimately going to be. I mean, we're going to crush this thing. So I'll put this up in the Facebook group though. Okay. Anybody have any other stuff, questions or anything?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I know that was kind of like long, but whatever. I mean, it was good. I mean, we went over a ton of stuff. I didn't think we would go over all that, but so anyway, I will post that stuff up there. If anybody needs me for anything, you know, just let me know. But it was awesome. I appreciate all you guys more than you know, and yeah, we're gonna crush this thing. So let's get busy. Let's get working. Get your list back out. Get your goals back out. Get your commitments. Like let's rock this thing. Okay.
Thanks, Glenn.
All right.
Okay,
got it.
Appreciate you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Good night.
Hey,
All
good
right,
night.
bye.
Good night, guys. Good night.